July 27, 1985 to November 17th, 2021. Rest in peace, Young Dolph. Leaves behind 2 children and a beautiful, beautiful woman, beautiful significant other, another victim of gun violence. Breaks my heart to hear stories like this. Sincerely, it does. It breaks my heart to hear stories like this. Hey guys, what's up? Lee Sanders here. We're here for Wednesday night of November 17, 2021, covering the latest in all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. And I hate opening up the show on a somber tip like this. I do. And I find it rather baffling and weird, to say the least, because one of the things that I recently talked about as early as the 10th anniversary show from the weekend, I said, if you guys recall that checked it out, one of the things that I did not like doing on the show over the years was having to cover tragic events, whether it be passings, right? I said that. And here we are, yet again, another tragedy. And this go round, a young brother caught in the middle of his prime. I mean, this guy was just really starting to scratch the surface. I personally felt on that creative level, just really starting to scratch the surface, just taken, all due to gun violence. And you're going to see a lot of those in the media that's going to be jumping on this, all the major news media outlets, just all across the board. They're going to be sadly using Young Dolph as an opportunity to have him be the face of gun violence and everything. There's one thing that I want for all of you all to keep in mind when you're seeing this story in syndication these next several days, and that's whether you live in Chicago or you live in Philadelphia, New York, California, you name it. There is always a young Dolph whose life is being cut down so short due to gun violence. They may not have that celebrity status that young Dolph has, but in every corner in this world, especially in North America, there is always a young Dolph that has lost their lives due to gun violence. And that's the tragic, sad part about all of this. But you're not going to really know about any of that because the way a majority of these news media outlets operate, it's all about just focusing in on one individual rather than it really be about a very important topic. I mean, look, over here in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., the number of deaths that went down just within the past couple of days, grand total, when you look at the year-to-year homicides by a form of gun violence. Last year, we were up to 198 deaths due to gun violence. Within the past, maybe like 2 weeks tops, definitely in the past 7 days, there was a series of not one, not two, but 3 shootings, almost kind of back to back to back. And with those 3 shootings / deaths, that pretty much put the grand total for this year at 199 deaths due to a form of gun violence. And we aren't even done with 2021 yet. That is the saddest part of all. So 9 times out of 10 here in the DC metropolitan area, we're going to most likely definitely pass 199 and pretty much set a new all-time record. this still links back to Young Dolph, because a lot of the people that have lost their lives out here due to gun violence, sadly, these were individuals that were in the wrong place at the wrong time when it's all said and done. No story was more tragic than a pee-wee football player, little kid, who was at a friend's house playing video games. I think this was out in PG County or something like that. Some freaking bullets went through this apartment complex where this young kid was, and sadly the bullets had hit him. Kid tragically lost his life. You know, there's always that young G's, there's always that Young Dolph story that, you understand what I'm saying? You understand where I'm coming from? So, until we really are able to sit down in our communities and we're able to do a better job as far as creating new initiatives, new programs, and, trying to really take back the streets and put a curb stomp on this gun violence that's going on, this is sadly just going to continue to be a vicious cycle when it's all said and done, and I tell you, might surprise some of you guys that I even know about the music of Young Dolph, but his work I've been following for the past couple of years now. I don't have all his albums, but I have a couple, and usually I make my rounds checking out, what's going on with some of my favorite artists, and he's definitely been one of those guys I've checked out over the years. There used to be a time on the show where we would actually play music from all different types of artists. And one of the main reasons why we stopped playing music from, established artists or up and coming artists, even if we had got permission from some of the artists, there would actually be some musicians that would reach out to me over the years via email or hit me up in my social medias, and they would be like, hey man, I'd really love it if you could promote my album, or if you could promote this track or that track. We always say, can you hook a brother up? And I check out their music, and normally I'd make a deal and we'd go on ahead, play their music and all that. But we stopped doing that because I think it was our Spotify feed from a couple of years back. From what I understand now, apparently there was an artist or two that didn't like the fact that, we had played their music on our show, and for Spotify, that pretty much was a big no-no, and, our feed had pretty much got pulled as a result. So just to make sure that for copyright purposes, things of that nature, that's why I don't play music anymore, not unless it's royalty-free music and all that. But Young Dolph's music was definitely something I checked out on a regular basis. So I'm definitely familiar with the brother's catalog and everything. And I loved his flow. And it's kind of funny because we were just here the other night and we were talking about that Top Dollar diss track. And I was telling you guys how, hey, I'm all about the beats. If that beat is on point, you got me hooked in those first couple of seconds on the beat. Okay, I'm with you, but if you're going to be throwing down some bars over that tight beat, then it better be damn good. It better be very complimentary of that beat, right? Because take it from me, and I'm sure you guys can relate, that's made your rounds over the years, checking out some good stuff and, hip-hop rap and stuff. I'm sure you guys would agree that, yeah, man, there's been some really tight-ass beats, but the people that's spitting the bars over them, they pretty much have sucked and all that. And I just love Young Dolph's flow, man. His flow, there's just that cadence behind it and all that. I loved it. The saddest part about this young man dying, besides the fact that he leaves behind, a beautiful, I don't know if he married her. I kind of, now that, again, and I'm the type of person, I don't really pry into people's personal life, not unless they make it public or whatever. But I don't know if he had married that girl, with the two kids and everything. I don't know if he married her or not, but, he leaves her behind. He leaves behind two little kids. And, besides that, here's a guy that was in the Memphis area where he was killed. And he was there for two reasons. Number one, he was out there because he was taking care of a sick relative that couldn't really move around like that. So he was tending to them. And then on top of that, he was out there because Thanksgiving right around the corner. And for these past handful of years now, he's pretty much been giving back to his community, and he's usually giving out turkeys and stuff. And so he was preparing to do that Thanksgiving tradition yet again and gunned down. And of all the places to pretty much be gunned down, number one, to be gunned down. And to the person in the chat that is saying, who is this dude trying to capitalize on tragedy and wrestling for the sake of clicks? No. I will have you know, and my veteran listeners will have you know, I'm proud to say, because not many YouTubers have done this, but every single time somebody has passed over the years, be it in the wrestling industry or in the entertainment industry, I'm proud to say that at my receiving end, I have done everything in my power to make sure that my episodes that I put out covering a significant loss is not monetized in any type of way. See, what you really should be doing, because you can actually answer your own question. You're the one that clicked on the video, and then you race to conclusion to pass that type of judgment. So you're already judging me without even taking the time out to try to get to know me, get to know what I'm about, hear what I have to say, and then pretty much go from there as far as forming an opinion on whether or not I'm coming from a place of sincerity, or am I coming from a place that's all about clicks and hits. We've been coming on Wednesdays at this time after AEW Dynamite has gone off the air since the show's inception. I've been doing this show since 2011, multiple shows. I've written for various wrestling and entertainment websites. I'm not putting myself over. You obviously don't know who I am. I'm letting you know who I am. But you didn't need to do all that and posting in the chat. You simply could have just kept quiet, figure out where I'm coming from. And see, unlike some people that want to talk about this, that can't really relate to it, I know what it's like firsthand to be a victim of losing a family member due to gun violence, and the tragic footprint of a memory, a painful memory that it leaves for many years to come. Unlike those that are just, slow wrestling news day, I'm going to go see what I can go find to talk about at random and try to make myself look cool and all this other stupid shit. No. You're not going to get that here, when I'm proud to say, keeping it honest, insightful, interactive. That's what we've always been about, and that's what the majority of our veteran listeners that's been with me for this long have greatly come to appreciate. FYI. Sorry, I didn't mean to get off on that, but that's the thing about me. If you're going to come at me, be prepared. I'm going to come right back at you. That's just how I always am. I've got nothing to hide whatsoever. Now, the saddest part about Young Dolph, and all of this was what I said earlier. He was out there in the area taking care of a relative, for one. And then number two, he was out there because he was getting ready to do his yearly Thanksgiving tradition of passing out turkeys. This is something that he's pretty much done for a couple of years now. And, he's pretty much doing all of this. It's like coming out of his own fucking pocket. And the man was gunned down in fucking broad daylight in front of a fucking cookie store? I mean, what the fuck? And then, not for nothing, I was telling my wife about this earlier today. And I said, what's really sad about all of this, it feels as though death has been knocking on this brother's door for a couple of years now. I can't remember if it was in 2017 or 18, but it was one of those 2 years where he was the victim of 2 shootings. Now, luckily, he walked away from those shootings pretty much unscathed. You know, there was one where there was one shooting where his car.
Come on, Buckos, let's go for a ride.
I'm going to get to the super chats in just a little bit because I want to stay, because this is very, very important right now. This is a serious topic. This is real talk right now. But his car was lit up in one of those accidents. And luckily he walked away. You know, he was all right. And then there was another one that had happened. And as soon as I was telling my wife that story, she came right back and she said, so it seems like, yeah, and she wasn't being cruel when she said this, but it's actually scary, accurate. She said, so the third time was it. The third time was the charm. And I looked at her and I said, unfortunately, yeah. It just seemed like knock, knock, knock. It was just coming at him and all that. So, look, I know a lot of people are shocked, sad, upset. It's all right. Allow all of those feelings to come out right now. Me personally, I'm definitely upset at hearing something like that, because here's a young brother that is doing it, you know, coming from the bottom and reaching to the heights that he was able to reach. And in the process, never forgetting pretty much where he came from, trying to do his best to give back to his respected community, and taken way before his time, quite honestly. And it's sad. Again, I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, I can relate to this shit on a personal level. You know, there's nothing that's more traumatic than being 11 years old, 11 going on 12 years old. And one of your uncles who you grew up loving, you grew up idolizing, you always thought he was so cool, especially the way that the girls used to somehow flock around him, and you wanted to be like him when you got older. And, you know, that was me, that kid looking up to my uncle, you know, and I just thought the world of my uncle. When nobody in the neighborhood would play with me, I couldn't find anybody to play with, my uncle was there for me. My uncle would be the one to say, hey, let's go play some arcades. Hey, let's go bowling. Hey, let's go bicycle riding. You know, you ride in the back and I'll you know, drive us around wherever you want to go. I'll push us wherever you want to go. We'll go get some ice cream. My uncle Marvin, he was the only one that would, you know, as I got older though, my Uncle Marvin, he started getting into drugs. He was selling it and he was using it. And sadly, when you mix those two, that's not good. You can do all that moderation bullshit. Yeah, whatever. You're going to get caught up. And that's exactly what happened to him. I'll never forget when me and my mom had first moved out there to California back in 91 going on 92. I'll never forget when we first had moved out there. It was so great to see him and my Uncle Len. It was so great to see the both of them again. But more so, I was happy to see my Uncle Marvin because I knew me and him were going to catch up and it was going to be like old times and everything. And boy, that first night, now that I look back on it in retrospect, that first night when we all were finally together with one another, looking back on it now, you could cut it with a knife. There was something weird in the air that just, you know, but my Uncle Marvin was shot and killed due to gun violence. Yeah, it was drug related, you know, from what we kind of learned from the detectives that were on the case afterwards, and sadly without any concrete evidence, the perpetrators that were involved, you know, there wasn't enough to get a conviction. They got tried and everything, but there just wasn't enough evidence. So these motherfuckers were able to walk away scot-free. But at that time, I remember I must have hung out with my uncle just a handful of times when we came out there to California to actually live out there and shit. And I would say probably within about 3 weeks of arriving in California, I lost my Uncle Marvin due to gun violence. And, you know, look, man, I'm real talk. I'm 40 going on 41 next month. I still, to this day, think about not only the good times I had with my uncle, but I also still think about that knock on the door in the middle of the afternoon from a homicide detective that came inside and proceeded to show me, my aunt, my grandmother, my mother, and myself a picture of my Uncle Marvin in a hospital bed, dead, with a tube down his throat and tears running down his face. I still sometimes have nightmares about the open casket. Never was exposed to death before in my entire life. And that was my first. That was my first. And this was all because of gun violence. Yeah, drugs was associated, but as far as what killed him, gun violence. And I've seen gun violence take the lives of those I considered friends. There's definitely a decent amount of people that growing up I either went to school with, hung out in the neighborhood, you know, a few people that I was able to befriend over the years. 3 things either happened to them. Either their lives were lost due to gun violence, they ended up going to prison, you know, or if they just happen to be a victim of gun violence and they survived, their life as they knew it was never the same. Never the same. So it's very sad. It's very sad. But I need you guys to kind of remember that, you know, we're going to have a lot of people that's going to think, oh, this is just some guy that's just trying to, like that one knucklehead that was in the chat. Oh, he's just trying to capital. No, baby. I don't need to capitalize on. I've already walked the walk. I've already talked the talk. You're talking to somebody that's also at one point been in a few gangs. I was going down. You guys have no fucking idea. Real fucking talk. I was going down a completely different path, being exposed to what I was exposed to as a kid. I had so many people that saw potential in me that never gave up. That's the thing. And that's what it comes down to when you're living in low income housing neighborhoods, you know, poor, shitty ass run down neighborhoods. How the fuck is a motherfucker supposed to have some hope that they're going to be able to get out of the ghetto and make a name for themselves and make some money and live comfortably and have that nice house, have a nice family? How's a motherfucker supposed to, when you're exposed to everyday struggles, people being thrown out because they can't make the rent or they can't make the mortgage, right? Crackheads running around, hoes running around, pimps and shit, right? All kinds of, you know, it can be hard when you're exposed to that at an early age, and that's pretty much all you know. If it wasn't for my skills as an artist, I don't think I'd be with you guys right now. Sincerely, I don't think I'd be with you guys right now. That and the people that did not give up on me and were like, look, you got to turn your life around before it's too late. You know, you got to, you know, and so I'm very fortunate. But, you know, most people are not as fortunate. Here's a case where you look at Young Dolph. His life could have ended up, right? But that's the beautiful part, man. Just to, on top of the beautiful music he was putting out there, how he was giving back to his communities. And it's like one of those deals where it's like just when this young brother was starting to discover himself, really start finding his purpose and shit, that's it. You know, so it's sad. It's sad. I really hope that the individuals that were involved in this, I really hope that they're brought to justice. I really, really do. I'm holding out hope. Look, let me tell you something. The case that went out down here in DC a couple of weeks back, the story I just told you about with the little boy that, you know, was pretty much shot and killed in that apartment complex, little Pee Wee football player. It must have taken about 2, maybe almost 3 months, and the police, the detectives that were on that, they had got a lot of helpful information as far as their crime solvers, tip lines, and all that. They had gathered up a whole lot of great tips that ultimately had led to the arrest of, I believe it was either 3 or 4 dudes that were involved in that shooting. It was either 3 or 4 dudes. So, and it was crazy because I remember when that shit first started, and they were talking about it and everything. It was like, okay, so what do you have as far as evidence? What do you got as far as suspects? They pretty much were just starting with like jack zilch. They pretty much were asking for the public's help, asking for anybody that might have had some type of surveillance footage during the date and time in question, and somehow they were able to pull it off and all that. So I hope if there's truly a God, and it's a God that's smiling on all of us, I really hope that divine intervention kicks in and they're able to bring whoever it was to justice for just destroying not only that young man's surviving family's lives, but fans and colleagues alike. You know, as you all get ready to go into the Thanksgiving holiday, you know, definitely, if you've never prayed before, send prayers, definitely, while you're giving thanks at the table and everything. Really take time out to truly be reflective and appreciative of what you have. And, you know, it's painful reminders like this that, you know, you think you got it bad. This is a prime example where, yo, man, could be much worse, as somebody else usually does have it much worse. So something to think about when you all get ready to eat at the table this holiday season. Definitely something I'm going to be thinking about sincerely. But that's real talk. That's real talk. I told you guys, from time to time, we got to pivot. And we got to get into some heavy shit sometimes. You know, you guys know how we do it here. So that's that. I will definitely try to liven up the mood a lot more from here on out. Nothing else really Debbie Downer heavies that would we got to get into and everything. Look, I know we got to do a hard 180. I don't like it either, but I'm going to try to liven up the mood. Dynamite in the books. First show, post Full Gear, which, by the way, I was very complimentary of the Full Gear pay-per-view. I ended up giving that show a overall 8 out of 10. So I couldn't go any lower. I couldn't go any higher. Pretty good. Pretty good show overall. We're dealing with the fallout from that. You know, I thought they did actually pretty good tonight. I love the main event match there with Jay Lethal, Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship. Sammy Guevara going over. I did not suspect that there was going to be a title drop at all. What I was paying more attention to was how well was Guevara and Jay Lethal going to click with each other in this match, and it did not disappoint. I felt that it was a banger classic matchup. Both guys had delivered. Jay Lethal, for all intents and purposes, kind of following up briefly on what I touched upon on the shows from last week, mainly the Full Gear post show. I said something along the lines of, hey, it's great that we got a guy like Jay Lethal that's involved in the company, as not only is he a good in-ring veteran, but he's also a man that can really help elevate these up-and-coming wrestlers that's on the AEW roster. And I mainly said in a nutshell that this guy will be a really good plug-and-play of a utility player and really helping out where the roster needs help. And so the way I felt Jay Lethal was utilized tonight was great. It was great. Look, I don't expect for Jay Lethal to be getting a run as a AEW World Heavyweight Champion. You could pretty much forget about that. That's not happening. Maybe a Jay Lethal as a tag champion. Yeah, sure. What the hell? Why not? A Jay Lethal maybe as a TNT champion somewhere down the line. Yeah, sure. What the hell? Why not? But that's about as much as I can see. So I loved it. I mean, even if you were a Jay Lethal fan, you got to be excited for Jay Lethal that he came in here on his very first match on TNT, and he had a banger of a instant classic matchup there against Guevara. How could you hate that? You couldn't hate that. Now, I see that we got some people that's jumping out there and they're pretty much using this time that Jay Lethal is now involved in the company as a way of going down revisionist history, going over the fact that, well, not for nothing, but Jay Lethal was involved in some controversy some years back, and they're going down that whole rabbit hole with Taylor Hendricks and everything, and some feel, hey, what's going on right here with Jay Lethal? Is this a case right here where we're just letting bygones be bygones, and AEW is just pretty much Tony Khan and crew, they're pretty much just caving in to whatever the fans want as far as who they want to see in AEW. Some even bringing up the question, is it possible that AEW could end up being a victim of cancel culture because they brought on board a guy like Jay Lethal and everything? Look, in regards to the controversy that went down with Jay Lethal some years back, I touched upon this more than once, but I want to just definitively put that stamp down here tonight. I'm one and done after this, and this isn't long-winded. His side, her side, our opinions. That's sadly how it is. There's an absolute truth that's in there, and sadly, we all do not know what the hell that truth is. We don't. The only thing we can do is go based off of, okay, well, we've seen this man involved in the wrestling industry for all of these years. Well, before this little incident right here had went down with said female wrestler, what else has been said about Jay Lethal? By all accounts and purposes, people I've had the pleasure of speaking to over the years, and I'm not sucking my own dick, I'm not bragging, I'm not boosting, so don't take it that way, because that's not how I'm even trying to come at you guys right now. But I've been in a position over the years where whoever I've interviewed, and I've built a rapport with them, and I end up chatting with them, having some various conversations and stuff, right down to people who I've been able to work with in the past, and this includes promoters. I have heard nothing but very good things about Jay Lethal. very good things. And I'm talking about before the controversy in question had went down. I'm talking about that. And, you know, obviously you had that controversy when it came. It's kind of like, whoa, what's going on here? After that, nothing else has surfaced. So if you can just really stop and think about that for a second. And this isn't me defending or choosing sides. I'm just, you know how I like to do it. I pretty much present to you all the angles, and how you walk away after that, that's up to you. But let's be real. We're talking about somebody that's pretty much been wrestling for about what? Damn near 20 years. And during that 20 years, this is pretty much the only blemish on his record that we can speak of. And it was right. So, and again, he said, she said, then there's our opinion, and then, right? That's a delicate situation. So, you know, my whole thing as far as going over revisionist history and all that, why some people feel the need to do that, I always question it. Is it really from a place of sincerity, or is it from a place where you just like to stir up the pot? These are the people I'm being accused of, or I was just a few minutes ago there by that knucklehead. I was accused basically of clickbait, but you know, no, the real clickbait are the people that are spinning stories from years past. The people that you could hear nothing but rave reviews for a WWE movie. Hell, you could hear rave reviews in the near future on the WWE biography on the life of Vince McMahon. It's nominated for awards, what have you. There's going to be that one person or two or three that is so jealous of Vince McMahon. They hate Vince McMahon with a passion. They can't stand WWE. And they'll take that opportunity while they're shitting on the movie to bring up the fact that, oh yeah, Vince McMahon, steroid trial scandal. Oh yeah, by the way, Vince McMahon and all these various women, these affairs, this stuff that was settled out of court. Oh yeah, Vince McMahon brought a suitcase to a police station a briefcase. I said suitcase. He brought a briefcase to a police station, and he pretty much paid off the cops over there as he was able to pretty much help get Superfly Jimmy Snuka, right? I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on and on when you stop and you think about this, right? So all things considered, you're right. That's how it is with the media sometimes, that, you know, especially those that have their own agenda. They have their own narrative that they're trying to fit. That's just how it is. I don't like it. I know some of you guys don't like it, but, you know, my whole thing is what's happening right here, right now. Sure, I can definitely look at what came about in the past. No doubt. I can definitely look at what went down in the past, but my whole thing is what's happening right here, right. Oh, sorry about that. I could look at what's happening in the past and everything. I could consider that. I don't have to forget it, but I do need to keep my eyes on it. I do need to be paying attention to it. But what steps forward has this individual or these group of people have taken since this period of time to help change that narrative that was being said about them in the past? What have they done since that moment? Because that's the most important thing that we all as a society be paying attention to with laser sharp eyes, which is, okay, we see you right here. Now we're interested in seeing from this particular spot of controversy your next two steps going forward and how you conduct yourself. right? That's what it's all about. So that's just me. That's just me personally. All the people I've spoken to and people I've been able to know over the years, nothing but kind things to say about Jay Lethal. You know, I'm not choosing Jay Lethal's side. I could be on here and I could tell you some stories about the victim in question, you know, leading up to that, as far as my experiences with them, that I will tell you is pretty unflattering, quite honestly. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just getting too old. You know, look, if you do enough digging in the show archives, you'll find a little something. How about that? I'll tease you guys with that. But no, that match, pretty good for what it was worth. I'm trying to think if there was anything in addition I wanted to say in regards to that matchup. And I don't really have anything else. I know they went about, actually, if you could indulge me for a quick second here, because I took some really good notes tonight as far as length of the matches and all that good stuff. Jay Lethal, Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship. That match went about 12 minutes. And once again, I got to say to TNT, can we please stop with the introductions and then we get into the match, and pretty much like about 4 minutes into the match, we got to pretty much go into a commercial break? What the hell, man? And then you say to me, but don't worry, picture in picture. And you're forcing me to watch that little tiny ass box in the corner. I can't stand that shit, especially when it's for the championship. It's like, come on, man. Let's go on ahead. Let's just show that joint ad break free. That's all I'm saying. Just show the motherfucker ad break free. Nobody's asking for, I don't think that's too much to be asking for, is it? Just give us that match for what it's worth. If you're going to be on the air for freaking 10 minutes, I would rather you go ahead and take a commercial break right when the guys are making their entrances for real, and come back and we can pretty much get into the match. I would rather that go down rather than, no, we're going to do this for a couple of minutes and then we're going to, but no, Lethal looked pretty damn awesome in his debut. Didn't take anything away from Sammy Guevara. Did not embarrass him whatsoever. And I love the fact that the fans that were in attendance there in Virginia, shout out to you guys in Virginia. I definitely need to hear from those of you that went to the Virginia Dynamite show tonight. So definitely represent if you're in the DMV and holler at your man. I definitely want to know how your experience was. I love the fact that the crowd pretty much, and they should, honestly, that Virginia crowd should know them some Jay Lethal, because not for nothing, but just a quick drive to the main headquarters of ROH, because they're out in Baltimore, Maryland and all that. Pretty much Sinclair Broadcasting is based out in Maryland as well. So a lot, trust me, you know, I've had some friends over the years that have made their rounds going to the Ring of Honor shows that live pretty deep out in Virginia. Some as far as Richmond, Winchester, Fredericksburg, and they love them some ROH. They freaking go on up, check out the shows and everything. So, but Jay Lethal seemed pretty damn good in this debut. The brother's going to be all right in AEW going forward. So, meanwhile, one thing that was kind of interesting, most people might have not caught it. Tony Nese was actually seen in the crowd. He did not look impressed by what he saw between Guevara and Jay Lethal. I don't know if you guys had caught that tonight, but Tony Nese was in the house. Tony Nese, we saw him for a good minute there in WWE, doing his thing with 205 and then SmackDown for a hot little bit. And yeah, so good shit right there. Inner Circle celebrating, pretty much having Dynamite go off the air that way. Good stuff right there. Good stuff right there. Let's see. I didn't forget about super chats, and you guys that are wanting to comment, I am able to read you guys' comments. So just go ahead and post away your comments in there. The Elite pretty much opening things up as Kenny Omega, which is why I'm actually wearing my Kenny Omega shirt right here. This is my first time, and this is its official debut here on the show. I've had this Kenny Omega shirt for over a year now, but I've never had any reason to wear it. Like, you've seen me on enough streams. I usually wear some type of a wrestling reference shirt or whatnot. The Kenny Omega shirts, I've never been like, originally I was going to give it away. But Kenny Omega was just somebody I just said, hey, I love what he was doing with Jericho over in New Japan. And then pretty much after that, it kind of seems as though Omega went 180, and he was, when I say 180, what I mean by that is instead of just being that bona fide pro wrestler, it seemed that Kenny Omega just mainly went the showman route. He mainly went the pure entertainment route is kind of what I felt. And for me, that just kind of made his stock go down a little bit in my eyes. But I tell you what, I know he held those championships, particularly the AEW World title, for a good, nice, lengthy run there. For me personally, a lot of the matches he had in defending the title was just, it was okay. But I definitely would have to say that as far as 2021 goes, Omega had a nice little stretch of really, really good matches. And the main reason why I'm wearing this shirt, I'll let you guys get a good look at this shirt here. Let me just pull up my actual real webcam here. This is my Kenny Omega Akuma inspired Street Fighter shirt. Pretty badass. One of the main reasons why I'm wearing this tonight and paying homage to Kenny Omega is because, as it was revealed at the opener of Dynamite, Kenny Omega said that he's pretty much going to go away for a little bit, heal up, and make no mistake about it, he will come back down the road, and he's going to be looking to have a rematch for the AEW World title. Whoever the hell the champion is, be it Bryan Danielson or Hangman Adam Page, he just knows that once he's ready, he's going to come back and we'll see him better than ever. So if you guys don't know, as far as stuff that's been happening behind the scenes and everything in regards to Kenny Omega, the young man, I did not notice until probably, I want to say Monday going into Tuesday is when I had learned about this, but he was quoted in somewhat of an interview, but it was more so of a video diary. He talked about how he got diagnosed with vertigo in 2018, and he's pretty much been dealing with it since. And he's actually supposed to be seeing a physician or a specialist and looking into his nagging injuries and some other stuff, see where he is and everything. And that's supposed to be going down this week. So definitely want to wish him nothing but a speedy recovery. And honestly, he deserves the rest. He honestly deserves the rest for everything that he's been doing for the AEW promotion. How he's pretty much been going in pretty much nonstop. He deserves the break right now. For those of you that don't know what vertigo is, and you're a little bit of a younger person, vertigo has to do with when a person has this sensation of movement, of like surrounding objects that's moving when they're actually not. If that makes any sense. It'll feel like, and I know when I say this, people are going to be like, oh, when you're drinking. And it's kind of like, yeah, but not quite. It's basically a case where one is feeling like this constant spinning, swaying movement. That's the best way I can pretty much sum it up. There's usually nausea, vomiting, profuse sweating, extreme difficulties walking around, when the head is involved, like as far as the head moving around and stuff, the vertigo gets much worse. It gets much worse. And it is a common form of dizzy spells, things of that nature. So just imagine you've been running around with that for a couple of years, and that's been the case with Kenny Omega. And, you know, now when you kind of stop and think about certain things as far as him and AEW and the frequency of him defending the championship, frequency of the matches that, you know, he's been having and all that, you understand what I'm saying? So I'm glad that he's taking this break right now. The brother's pretty much done a lot of stuff, and I like the fact that Tony Khan has been consistent in giving Kenny Omega his flowers off and on this year, saying how Kenny Omega has been a big help to him behind the scenes and everything. And, you know, I would imagine once Omega takes this little bit of a break, I don't think it's going to be that long of a break, but I feel that he's going to be involved behind the scenes in AEW a lot sooner. Like, honestly, I would not be surprised if Omega just enjoyed the holidays, comes back after the first of the new year, and he's pretty much working behind the scenes. Maybe we might see him in February. If you're asking me straight up, I would not be surprised if maybe at this point, February is when Kenny Omega comes back. No later than March. I'd be shocked if March 1st comes, and still no Kenny Omega on AEW programming. But I would suspect maybe February is when he's going to be coming around. So with him gone, now it's just pretty much all about the Bucks and Adam Cole. You know, but one thing that was kind of, well, wait a minute here, man. What about Kenny Omega getting in the face of the Bucks? Why did the Bucks not jump in there and help out Kenny Omega? Why didn't Kenny Omega bring up this point? I'm with you guys, but it seems for right now, that respected story arc is on pause. I have a feeling we're going to get our answers to that. Honestly, at this point, if you really want to bring it home and everything, I wouldn't be surprised if the eventual story you told when Kenny Omega does come back. And I have a feeling that either two things are going to play out. Either it's going to be Kenny Omega, Hangman Page for the AEW World title, or possibly it's going to be a triple threat. Possibly it's going to be Omega, Bryan Danielson, and the Hangman for the title. It could be, but I have a feeling that if it hasn't been resolved as far as why the Bucks did what they did and not help out Omega at the pay-per-view, then I have a feeling that in that next matchup where Omega has a shot at the AEW World title, that maybe once the Bucks cause interference but pretty much deny Omega, maybe that's where we're really going to finally get some answers. At least that's just how it comes off to me. I could be totally wrong about that, but Omega out of the picture. Today was Cowboy shit day for Kenny, Hangman. The Hangman, Adam Page. Looks good as a champion, man. I was loving that nice little bravado that he had coming out there and everything. Loved him in his Virginia's for Lovers shirt, all that. I could do without the jacket. Honestly, I could do without the jacket, but it's all right. It's all right. He did pretty good. He did pretty good with his promo. Wasn't able to talk that long, as he did mention how he's looking forward to the next challenge coming from Bryan Danielson, since he won that World Tournament final. And Danielson coming out, this did not look good for Danielson. I gotta say, the crowd was not feeling them some Danielson. And you almost couldn't help but say to yourself, who played who here? Because Danielson had this shitting grin on his face like, I got them exactly where I want them. These guys have no idea. And he played them like a fiddle. He did. He played them real good. I love the part where Danielson mentioned the fact that, hey, Hangman, look, you're out here, you're in your street clothes. When I won the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, I came out here the very next night and I wrestled, and the fans booed the hell out of that. I love that. I ate that up. It was almost as if the fans were going, dude, don't even mention that other fucking company up north. Don't even mention those guys. What balls you have to mention that other company? That's how it came off. That's how it came off. I loved it. I ate that shit up. That was good. I'm trying to think. And then afterwards, Brian had said a little bit more stuff and he was getting booed. I love the fact that we pretty much had got a Danielson that really was healing it up here tonight. Now, some people looked at this and they asked the question, why was Danielson out there just all of a sudden full-blown heel? What the hell was going on here? I didn't look at it like that. The way I looked at it, because if you really stop and think about it, Danielson did nothing that was heel-like. He really did not, if you really stop and think about it. The mean streak that we've been seeing of him in the ring, that tenacity that I'm going at it full throttle, I'm heavily invested, I'm going to win by any means necessary, I'm going to win by however I need to win. We haven't seen him cheat yet, but he's had different ways in which he has won his matches. I love the way that AEW has been doing that too with his matches, right? You think it's going to go down one way, but he's never doing the same thing twice in his matches. What you see of him in one match, you think you're going to go into the next show, he's going to win a different way. So I love that running gag that they have going on there with Danielson. But Danielson was out there from the moment he was trying to shake the Cowboy's hand and congratulate him. The fans were shitting on him. From the moment that he was out there and he pretty much was being brutally honest. Hey, honestly, I wasn't expecting to be shaking your hand and be sharing the ring with you. I thought I was going to be kicking the living, out of Kenny Omega. Fans were booing, right? This was a crowd that was, you could take it two ways. This was a crowd that was very, very pro Hangman Adam Page, and I really, really, really love them some Adam Page, good homegrown AEW talent, AEW original, and looking at Danielson as the guy, no. This is our golden goose right here. We don't care for you. Leave our golden goose alone, man. Seriously, leave our golden goose alone, right? But the way it was set up, I don't know who it was that went with the call, hey, Danielson, maybe you should just go in here and just play off of the crowd and just reel them in. Reel them in with your bait and then just take them for a ride. But I love the way it was played out. And so to have this Danielson that pretty much was out there, and again, look at how admirable he was as a challenger. He was willing to face Hangman for the championship tonight, but he pumped the brakes and said, yo, I don't even want you to have any type of an excuse whatsoever when I beat you. I don't want you to say, oh, I wasn't really ready. So he pretty much just, we're going to do this, but I want to give you enough time to get your ass ready. And the fans were just booing. They were just, I loved it. I ate it all up. As far as I'm concerned, Daniel Bryanson was not a heel. He simply was a guy that was going in there. He's on a mission. He is a man possessed right now. He is looking to become a world heavyweight champion. He is looking to prove to the naysayers, to the doubters, right? And storyline, that is, of course. So the stuff with Evil Uno, I got to tell you, that for me was just, now that I see how the blueprint shaped up at the end, I got to say, I wasn't feeling going into tonight, Evil Uno versus Bryan Danielson. I'm going, wait a minute. Danielson wins this TNT tournament thing. This AEW World Championship qualifier tournament, right? He wins that. And we're pretty much going to have him come fresh out of a pay-per-view. And we're going to have him take on Evil Uno. Look, they went about 6 minutes. I'm okay with the length of the match. Went down exactly as I thought it was going to go down, as far as Danielson playing with his food being Evil Uno, and just giving Evil Uno that false sense of hope narrative that he really has a shot. But essentially, Evil Uno was way out of his league. Uno was pretty much demolished in this match by Danielson. And Danielson, I mean, what some people will see as, man, he really just went all balls out, asshole mode right here. I look at it as just Danielson is going to get inside the mind of Hangman Adam Page and really try to hurt him where it hurts the most, which is, okay, you've got this connection here with all of these guys that's part of the Dark Order. They're your boys. They're your friends. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to beat the living shit out of them one by one, pretending that they're all you, until I ultimately get my hands on you when you're pretty much going to be the last man standing, right? It's a great mind fucker when you really stop and think about it, because by getting into Adam Page's head by taking out his friends, that's really playing on the emotions, right? Here is a young, new, fresh champion in the Hangman, right? I mean, really stop and think about that. So I don't see it as a case where Danielson is just being straight up. I think for me personally, if I were to fully embrace, for me, I thought what he did was tweenerish. It was really in between for me tonight. In order for me to go, nah, he's full-blown heel, let's see him do something with the Hangman's parents, significant other, or something along those lines. I got to see something like that for me to go, okay, cool. But that was pretty badass how they set it up. I even liked the post-match beatdown that the guys had with one another. Danielson talking even more trash, and eventually after he got done beating Evil Uno, he revealed he wanted to challenge Colt Cabana for, I believe, next week's Dynamite, because they're going to be in Chicago. He wants to challenge Colt Cabana. So Colt Cabana, Bryan Danielson for next week. That should be a pretty damn good matchup. Let's pause right there. We can get into the stuff with some more backstage stuff that went down in a hot little bit. Let me get to this super chat here. Looks like we got a super chat there. I didn't even see who it was from, so I actually got to pull up the notification here. Let me see. Can I replay that? Is there any way I can replay that? No, there's no way I can. Well, actually, no. I can't replay that. I just got to find the replay button here. Let me see here. Boom. Let's see. I got to do the replay button here. I think there's no, I don't have a replay button. So hang on. I got to go old school here. Somehow I was able to see who did the super chats. Sorry about that, guys, but I don't have a replay button just yet. There we go. I had to see through YouTube. Oh, Gino with the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Apologies. I'm sorry I could not get to your super chat notification as soon as it popped up on the screen earlier. I hope you understand, as we were in the middle of a pretty serious opening there at the start of the show. Here is my 10-year anniversary gift. Sorry I couldn't be in the stream. No apologies whatsoever. No apologies whatsoever. $50 super chat. Thank you. Thank you, Gino, for the $50 super chat. Greatly appreciate that. Yeah, 10-year anniversary, man. Hard to believe that we were able to put out so much content and that we've been doing it for 10 years now. So good shit. And I appreciate, once again, I appreciate everybody that, whether you were with me for the initial live stream on Sunday for the 10th anniversary special, or you checked it out on demand. Definitely appreciate you guys that went out of your way, checked it out, showed some love, most importantly, whether on the video or throughout social media. Appreciate you guys. Definitely. Let's keep rocking and rolling here. What else we got here as far as Dynamite? I'm just going through the rest of my notes here. Backstage segment. I think it was Tony Schiavone. He was interviewing Eddie Kingston and getting his thoughts on the defeat to CM Punk at Full Gear. Kingston, once again, promo being interrupted. This go round, it was by 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. And, oh, man. They came up to Eddie Kingston and they pretty much said, yo, we're tired of losers. Or like, we're tired of losers. We're tired of people like you, basically. And next thing you know, Eddie Kingston, he went straight up into the face of Daniel Garcia, and he said to them, yo, straight up, man to man, you know, won't you fight your own battles? Won't you step up to me man to man? Second of all, you gonna let these two dudes call you son and they're not even your father? Yo, I don't lost so much respect for you right then and there. And he follows up saying, you know, look, main reason why I lost that fight against Punk was because I went into it looking for a fight. Punk went into it looking to wrestle. I want to fight you. So he wants to fight Daniel Garcia. And he pretty much walked away saying, just once, I'd like for a promo of mine to not be interrupted. I'm going to catering. Good shit right there. Good shit right there. You just can't help but wonder who is going to continue to interrupt Eddie Kingston, and it comes to his fucking promos, man. Next matchup, Butcher and the Blade taking on Tomohiro Ishii and Orange Cassidy. Team of what was it? Team of Blade and Butcher and Blade. Was it the Butcher and Blade? Yeah, Butcher and Blade had went over in this match. So the Cassidy Hardy feud, it continues. We got some new participants in here and everything, but for all intents and purposes, when you really get down to the nitty and gritty, Cassidy, Hardy, the feud, it continues. I need to know what the finish line is going to be. Are we ultimately going to get a hair versus hair match between these two guys? Or are we ultimately going to get a loser leaves Dynamite? What is going on here? Because at this point, I am just looking at this going, where is the payoff? Because we sure as hell didn't have no payoff at Full Gear. You know, where are we going with this? Ishii was pretty good out there for what it was worth. You know, I mean, just his presence out there alone, he definitely was somebody, if you weren't familiar of his work, you're definitely looking at him going, oh, he looks pretty intriguing. He looks pretty. And no, I'm not going to come on here. I'm not going to even put up a front to you guys and be like, yeah, I know a lot about Ishii. I don't know shit about Ishii because I don't watch enough New Japan. Sorry. I will gladly, though, invest more into New Japan in the coming year. We kind of have to play to our audience. That's why we don't really talk New Japan like that, sadly, because it's one thing if New Japan was still having their Access TV deal. That'd be one thing. But it's like, a small niche, man. It's like a little small, right? So it kind of sucks, unfortunately. Andrade El Idolo, FTR backstage segment. They pretty much were bragging about beating up Cody Rhodes and Pac cleanly in the ring. Like, wait a minute, that's not what I remember, but okay, whatever. And pretty much they're continuing to be a little bit annoyed here with Cody and Pac. From there, FTR says they're so annoyed that they're willing to waive their fee, get Malachi Black involved, as they want to challenge Cody and crew to a 8-man tag team match against Rhodes, Pac, Lucha Brothers. Tully Blanchard even threatened Arn Anderson, saying, hey, yo, got one more fight in me. So, and that match was officially made for next Wednesday's Dynamite. We will be seeing that 8-man tag match going down. While I'm thinking about next week, I think that was just one of the things that was mentioned for next week's Dynamite. Also on Dynamite next week, we're going to be seeing Jamie Hayter take on Thunder Rosa in the TNT, the TBS. We're going to be seeing those two fight for the TBS tournament quarterfinals there. So that should be a good matchup. Next up, recap of Tay Conti taking on Britt Baker. Britt Baker showing her girl Jamie Hayter some love while verbally destroying Thunder Rosa at the same time and putting the spotlight on Jamie Hayter. Pretty confident that she's going to go in and destroy Rosa in that matchup coming up next week that we just mentioned. Meanwhile, TBS title tournament quarterfinals, Nyla Rose taking on Shida. Nyla Rose picking up the victory via submission. She won with a stretch muffler on Shida. I gotta say, you had some interesting spots that went down in this match. There was one spot in particular where I thought, okay, this is definitely over. And that was the spot, if you guys watch Dynamite tonight, that was the spot where Thunder Rosa had set up a chair. I can't remember if the chair was set up outside the ring. I kind of feel as though it was. And she was looking to do, Nyla Rose she was looking to do insult to injury on Shida with that steel chair. But man, the way Nyla Rose just came crashing into that chair. I mean, she went into that chair pretty much back first. And I just thought, shit, one, hope you're okay. Two, surely the match is going to be over right here, as we soon saw Shida pretty much get Rose back into the ring, and you're going, okay, well, this is it. This is definitely going to be it. And yet somehow the match continued and we went into a commercial break afterwards. But I thought that was pretty much going to be it right there. And it wasn't. Now, I've been a little bit critical of the Shida Nyla Rose matches that we've seen over the past several weeks, and I've said to you guys, kind of good, not really clicking here. Chemistry seems a little bit off between these girls. This one was a little bit better, not by much, but it was a little bit better. It was a better effort than the previous encounters. I'll definitely give that. Definitely surprised at the move of having Rose go forward. I was definitely a little bit surprised by that. But at the same time, you kind of think about going a little bit further down the road as far as Shida, maybe even doing some stuff with Serena Deeb. It does kind of feel like there's that back innuendo, if you will. So I think Nyla Rose could make it to the finals. Legit, I think she could make it to the finals. I don't know if it's going to be a case of Jade Cargill, Nyla Rose. That would be pretty fucking badass, but I like what they did. I like what they did right here. I definitely feel that the right person went over for sure. Right person had went over. From here, let's see what was next. Trying to think what was next right here. I think after this, it was the segment of the night that had a lot of us fucking go, let's go! And that's CM Punk, MJF. That was definitely the segment of the night. We got MJF. He was flanked by Wardlow, Shawn Spears. And that shit was pretty funny as MJF, he pretty much came down into the ring, cutting his trademark promo, bashing the Virginia crowd and everything. And he mentioned the AEW rankings and stated how the rankings aren't really truly telling the story. And that, as far as he's concerned, he should be the next world champion. And he feels that there's no doubt that there's no one in the locker room on his level. Can't even come close to it. And cue up the music of CM Punk. Fans, white hot, loving this great freaking moment right here. And we see CM Punk get in the ring. He doesn't say shit. He just gets in the ring and he's looking at MJF up and down with this smug look on his face. MJF is just standing there. And he just has this look on his face like he's kind of shitting himself. He's very perplexed. He's totally thrown off. But he's got to figure out a way to come back on the rebound and take control of this. So he extends his hand out and introduces himself to CM Punk saying, "Hi, I'm MJF." And CM Punk just looks at that hand, doesn't even shake it. He just looks at it like it's a foreign object. Casually walks out of the ring, scoffs at MJF, actually laughs, and walks away. While MJF just stands there, looking very perplexed, looking at his hand, looking back at Punk, looking a little bit pissed off, and I loved it. And you know what? One of the first things that clicked in my mind tonight, and I want to just load this up real quick here. I should have done this beforehand, but I want to load this up real quick. Indulge me for a second. And let me just load this up here. Okay, where is it? There we go. Okay, so for those of you that's going to be checking out the audio version of the show, all apologies, but I'm getting ready to show some nostalgia history here. You guys will know what I'm talking about when you look at the thumbnail for this respected episode. You definitely will know what I'm talking about. But one of the first things I thought about when it came to CM Punk and MJF, as you guys are able to see now on the screen here, I instantly thought about when MJF was a little kid and he had met CM Punk, right? You've seen, I don't know if you guys have even seen this. I've seen it off and on over the years. There we go. I've seen it off and on over the years. And it's a nice, fun little pic of MJF, who's probably like, I don't know, 10, maybe even 11. And he's meeting freaking CM Punk, and he just has the biggest freaking smile on his face. And you're just like, oh, he made that little kid's day. How cool is that? And now you just fast forward all these years later. And for MJF to be sharing the ring with one of his idols. If you don't think MJF was on cloud 9 tonight, seriously, that's all I got to say. So inside, he most likely was just marking the hell out. I mean, how cool is that? Seriously. I know I just came back, but I got to show that image again. How cool is that? You talk about something coming full circle. Seriously. And that sums it up perfectly. How it started and how it's going. That sums it up perfectly. you just can't help but, if you're an MJF fan and you really been appreciating everything that he's been doing so far up to this point with him involved with AEW and everything, you just can't help but really be feeling for him, being on cloud nine with him. This is going to be an incredible, fun little journey. We thought that the stuff with Punk and Kingston was something, and I got to admit, I thought we were going to be going in a direction where it was maybe going to be Punk, Kingston. Remember, I teased that idea. Maybe we'd see the two of them and Andrade, Idolo, and Malachi Black. Maybe we're going to kind of see these guys maybe intertwine here, but no, instead it's a really good ass smart move. It's a really damn good smart move, because remember how it was at the Full Gear pay-per-view. That crowd was pro fucking Eddie Kingston. That crowd was pro Eddie Kingston. I don't know why I was thinking Darby Allin just now. My mind is still on the CM Punk Darby Allin match, but I gotta put my brain past that. I'm going back to the Eddie Kingston Punk match at Full Gear, and that crowd was very pro Eddie Kingston. And what better way to have CM Punk get his instant babyface status back by having him match up with MJF. Good fucking shit right there. I honestly, I did not see that coming. I didn't think they were gonna pull the trigger on that this soon. I felt definitely further down the road, much further down the road. Like, if you were asking me how much further down the road, I didn't think we were going to be doing anything with Punk and MJF at least for about 5 months, maybe even 6. So the fact that Christmas came this early for a lot of us, this should be good. This should really, really be good. And I can just imagine some of the stuff that's going to be coming from out of it. And look, MJF is a student of the game. That man is on top of his social media game. Trust me when I say, you don't think he is aware of the photos that's floating around of him as a kid meeting CM Punk, and his brain just the gears in motion, and he's thinking about how he can use that photo into a promo and pretty much the launch pad that he needs to go deeper. Trust me, he is going to go there. With that image and all of that, he's going to freaking go there. So I'm looking forward to this. This was a nice highlight of the entire night. Acclaim taking on Dante Martin, or correction. No, I said that right. Acclaimed. The Acclaim taking on Dante Martin, Lio Rush. About a 10-minute matchup. Martin, Rush picking up the victory. Damn good tag match. Solid flying around here. Martin, Rush, damn good tag team. Acclaim looking pretty good as well. Post-match, Team Taz, once again with another pitch to Dante Martin. Martin still acting as though it's a bad idea. Christian Cage and Jurassic Express, they talk about how they're ready to fight Adam Cole, Bobby Fish on Rampage this Friday, as essentially a challenge was put out by Bucks, Cole, Fish, basically. So that's what we're going to be seeing. Also on Rampage this week is, as a matter of fact, if you guys can bear with me, let me look at my show notes here, because I actually wrote it down here for Rampage. I think I already went over the matches that's supposed to be happening, but bear with me here, and I can definitely tell you officially. Yeah, so Rampage this week, Red Velvet taking on Jade Cargill. Billy Gunn will face Darby Allin. It's kind of weird how this pretty much had went down, because we got a proper introduction on tonight's Dynamite. It basically was a backstage segment. Darby was saying a little something. Basically, hey, I'm willing to take on any new challenges, whatever big obstacles is going to come my way. And Billy Gunn just pretty much got in his face. Hey, heard you flapping your gum. You're talking about big challenges. Well, I'm a big challenge. I'm a big dude. I'll face you this Friday. So that's pretty much how we got that match. So Billy Gunn, Darby Allin. and Adam Cole, Bobby Fish teaming up to take on Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. So those are your 3 matches that's going down Rampage this Friday. Don't forget, I'm going to be doing my thing over at the 401 Mania website. I'll not only be providing live coverage of Rampage, but I'll immediately follow up with a written up review for it as well. So check that out. Should be good. Let's see what else here. I think, yeah, that's it. That pretty much was Dynamite for tonight. We got about 5 matches when it's all said and done. 5 matches for Dynamite this week. One match was 12 minutes by my official record. One match was about 12 minutes. Another one was 12 minutes. Another one was 11 minutes. Another one was 11 minutes. And you had one that pretty much was at about 7 minutes. So when you add that up, let's add that up right now. When you add up 7 and then 11, what are the odds of that? 7 and 11. Another 11. Another 12. And pretty much another 12. Let's see here. Out of 2 hours, mind you. Let's see what that adds up to. Some of you guys probably already know a little quicker. So that was about 53 minutes by my account. So 7 minutes shy of an hour. A lot of fillers on this episode, but well spaced out for the most part. I'll definitely give them that. It was well spaced out for the most part. Just trying to think if there's any additional. Just trying to think if there's anything additional. No, pretty solid episode for this week. I don't have anything additional to say to that. Hey, if you guys been enjoying the show so far, please do me a huge favor. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button. When you do that, definitely help spread the word about our channel, content, all of that. And I can't stress it enough. I got to make sure I say this once again. When we cover any type of tragedy that goes down, I'm very proud. I'm very prideful of this. I do my best to put as much time in researching whatever I'm going to be talking about, especially if it has to do with a tragic story or whatever. I make sure that not only am I well prepared, but I make sure, since I'm ultimately the one that's able to control monetizations and stuff on my content, I make sure that that type of stuff is disabled. So in regards to this webcast, this particular webcast, I know we opened up talking about Young Dolph. This is not being monetized. When this episode gets ready to be released in audio format for on demand and on the downloads, I have control because I released the episodes initially through Spreaker. So the episodes that are available on Spreaker, there's a setting that I can mess with on whether or not I want there to be monetization or not. And it will be disabled. Now, sadly, when it comes to Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, I sadly myself, none of my friends in the podcasting industry, we don't have any control over those respected outlets that I talked about. All right. Right down to the point, any monetization profits that's being made by these respected outlets, we're not getting any cut of that. Now, I'm not complaining because honestly, I'm just happy that we're able to syndicate our content for other people to check out. But just know that as far as I'm very prideful, and I try to do my best to make sure that I got that type of stuff disabled when I'm the one that's in control. Sadly, you know, if you really want to see people that are making it be about getting channel subscriptions and all that other stuff, here's my challenge to you. I'm not going to put the person's name out there. But I will say this, I had saw a couple of people that when it came to the tragic passing of Daphne, you had those of us that, normally have been doing our thing for years upon years upon years, such as myself and many others. And, we reacted to the news accordingly, and we did it with respect. We were tasteful in the way that we presented the information. And then you had those that pretty much were, come on, hit that like button. I want to see 40 likes before we get ready to talk about the death of this girl. Come on, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hey, you come in with a super chat. Hey, super chats are open right now. Come on, y'all, super chats. Let's get into those super chats. Yeah, man, this is the channel. You want to be here, man. Make sure you hit that like button. You want to be here, man. Yeah. We're going to talk about the death of Daphne in a little bit, but we're where you need to be right now, man. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if I got to choose between shit like that and how I opened up the show, being very respectful, very classy, in the way I covered the death of Young Dolph, I mean, to each its own. To each its own. Everything that I just said. I mean, you must personally really, really hate me if, you know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, I don't see how anybody, I don't know about you all, I ain't flocking to somebody that's pretty much going to be that tasteless in using somebody's death like that. And, we got to be careful how we throw around certain terminologies and all that when, sadly, but you know what? I ain't telling you guys something you all don't already know. Because how's our society in a nutshell? Sadly, we got a majority of people, they run off of emotion. They don't kick back and process before responding. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. If you need a really good example, try an experiment. Significant other, best friend, what have you, just get lost in a text message conversation. It's happened to us all at some point. We put something out there, we think it means one thing, and it turns out it doesn't. That's what I mean when I talk about we allow ourselves as a society to typically run off of the first emotion that comes to mind, and we just, especially if it's on a topic where we're pretty passionate about, but I mean, my God, man, I remember, and I know you longtime listeners remember as well, when it came to the passing of Kobe Bryant, I damn near was in tears reacting to the news and everything. Many times over the years, Chris Cornell passing, we'd be here all night, man. But y'all that's been with me for a good minute, we've had to console each other over the years on some heavy shit, on some heavy fucking shit. So, see, what else can we get into on here? We still got a little bit more showtime left. How long we've actually been on anyway? All right, not too bad. About a hour, 37 minutes. Look, I did not check out this week's NXT. You guys gotta forgive me. I know normally I talk about key points from NXT. Did not do it. I actually had spent today enjoying a rare Wednesday off with the company of my wife, because normally on Wednesdays, by the time I wake up, my wife is usually out the door. She's going to work, and she's usually working until slightly late night, and usually we're passing ships, because by the time she gets home, I'm usually doing the post show and everything. But she had got a rare Wednesday because she switched around with her coworker, because her coworker sadly had a funeral she had to go to last week, and so she needed for my wife to work her day, and in exchange it was kind of like, okay, I could either work your Tuesday or I'll work your Wednesday. And it was okay, how about Wednesday? So we kicked back. We ran some errands. One of the places we went to was my favorite comic book store. It was picking up my stash, as I like to call it, and picked up some new comics. I got the #1 issue. Was it a 5-part miniseries of the new Thing series? I got the newest issue of I Am Batman. There's something else. I picked up a Incredible Hulk, a retro Incredible Hulk trade paperback, pretty much around the time when Hulk first made his appearance, basically. Like, I got like the first 6 to 10 issues of that in a trade paperback. So I had picked that up. There's one other thing I had got. I can't quite remember what it is at the moment, but yeah, we pretty much were running errands for most of the day. And by the time we got back, I actually sat down with her. We recorded a new episode of Wrestling with the Topics. We're actually going to be releasing that. It's recorded. It's ready to go. I just got to clean up the audio and all that. I will probably release that audio, if not Thursday night, Friday night. I will gladly go ahead and release it for you guys. Let's see. But yeah, after that, had a nice dinner, made dinner, did some laundry, and pretty much after that was time to watch Dynamite. So I sadly did not get to check out NXT. So please forgive me. I will do better, or I will die with dishonor. I will do better for you guys next week, I promise. But we got a little bit more stuff that we can get into. I am aware of this stuff that came about with Ric Flair and Becky Lynch. I'm gonna sit on that a little bit longer, because actually what we're gonna do is, I was gonna get into WWE Survivor Series predictions, but we can actually do another show. We can definitely do another show. I'm thinking what we'll probably most likely do, let me just look at my schedule real quick here. Hang on, guys. Let me look at my schedule here, and I can tell you all exactly. So I'll tell you what, guys. What we'll do a special Saturday show, and that's going to be on November 20th. We'll do a special Saturday show, and we can get into Survivor Series picks, and we can definitely get into it a little bit on that Ric Flair, Becky Lynch stuff, because I kind of have a feeling it's going to continue to go back and forth. So I'd hate to talk about it now, and then even more sizzle gets on that bad boy. Yeah, that's how we'll go ahead and we'll do it. So pay attention to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/RCWR show, and check out the community section. I'm going to put a little poll up asking you guys, what time would you like me to do the show on Saturday? I'm thinking, though, we'll either come on at 8 or 9 o'clock at night this Saturday, East Coast time. Just look out for the poll. I'll put the poll up sometime Thursday afternoon. I will put the poll up, okay? FYI. But yeah, so we'll dive into that then. And then also, now, I know I said I didn't watch NXT. I am aware of the latest NXT 2.0 viewership numbers. Not good. First time ever that NXT 2.0 fell below 600,000. This past Tuesday show did 574,000 viewers. You heard me right. 574,000 viewers it did this past week. Down from the previous week, which was able to get 603,000 viewers. And this is the lowest total viewership for NXT on USA since February 10th, where that respected show was going head to head with AEW Dynamite. And in regards to that 18 to 49 demo, not good, not good. That also was down. It drew a 0.11 rating with 143,000 viewers basically in that 18 to 49 demo. Compared to the previous week, it was a 0.15 rating. So not good. This officially is the lowest rating in the key demo to date for NXT on USA. And if you're looking at this, I talked about this last week, teased it a little bit the week before, but I've definitely mentioned it within recent weeks, which is, what's going on with Triple H? Where is the brother? Is he doing all right? Hopefully he's okay. Health, safety, well-being, all of that definitely is the priority, but what's going on with him? And it just kind of feels like for all intents and purposes, he's just out of the picture right now. And this NXT little experiment that's going on is pretty much gonna do itself in. It kind of seems. So it's quite sad. It really, really is. I told you guys straight up, I said the NXT show, it's gotten to a point where for me, it's just becoming unwatchable. And that there's only a couple of things that remotely pique my interest when it comes to NXT these days. Kind of sad, but, it's true. So, Lord have mercy. Pre-sale codes are now available for AEW Dynamite and WWE Raw in January of 2022. So if you guys are interested, the pre-sale code for the January 12th episode of Dynamite in North Carolina, which begins Thursday. The pre-sale begins this Thursday, November 18th, 10 a.m. Eastern. Use the pre-sale code AEW RDU. Again, AEW RDU. There's your pre-sale code. Meanwhile, supposedly for the January 31st Raw in Cincinnati, Ohio, the password is going to be, there's two passwords. One is Monday and the other one is Champion. And the pre-sale supposedly for that one is going to be starting, or actually it's underway right now. And you guys got until 11:59 p.m. Thursday, November 18th to get one of those codes in. So if you don't know, now you know, and you guys are welcome. I don't know how many of you guys are fans of the series Big Sky. This is a series that's on ABC. I checked a little bit out online in regards to this series because I don't watch ABC. I don't. The only time I used to watch ABC was when they had Monday Night Football. And as we all know, it hasn't been on ABC, Monday Night Football, that is, for a good handful of years now. And then before that, I'm just trying to think if there was anything. Yeah, no, the last time I used to watch ABC religiously, was when they had Spin City with Michael J. Fox. I know I'm kind of not only showing my age, but I'm also showing yeah. Now, I do remember in recent years watching ABC for the Norman Lear reboots of Jefferson's and All in the Family in Good Times. I do remember watching those in recent years, but that pretty much has been it. Unless it's the NBA Finals, I'm not watching ABC. That's just how it is for me. But Jinder Mahal, apparently he's going to be joining the cast of Big Sky for season 2. So if you want to get some snippets of the guy, check it out. He looks pretty good. Look, it actually, no bullshit. I'm not just saying it. It actually looks pretty good. I might actually watch an episode or two and see what's up. I have a Spotify student account, and as a result of that, I get access, I think, to Hulu and or Showtime, one of those or both of those. So I will definitely check that out, and I'll let you know how Jinder does. You know, I'll definitely let you know, and you guys should check it out too, so we all can kind of compare notes and everything on Jinder. For you Christopher Daniels fans, he's gonna be coming to New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong in December. They announced that he'll be appearing at the Nemesis event on December 9th. So check that out when you get a chance. Also, more information has been revealed, it looks like, on Cody Rhodes and his absence from Twitter. Remember, we were just here on Monday night and we were telling you guys how he deactivated his account, wasn't really sure what was going on, and this was pretty much the consensus as well from the rest of my podcast buddies, because nobody quite knew. Yeah, it definitely went under the radar. So it turns out, a little bit more information for you guys. It turns out he actually did an interview with the guys over at Busted Open Radio, and it was during the week of Full Gear, and he pretty much had told them during that interview, today is the last day that my Twitter account is going to be activated, as I'm deactivating it tomorrow. And the reason why he gave to them that he was going to be deactivating it was because he was just tired of the sniping and just overall the toxicity, the negativity that's been going on that respected platform. So he just decided, you know what? I'm done with this. So now all his time and energy, it's going to be going over to his Instagram account. So, you know, I totally get where Cody is coming from. And there were quite a few people I had saw that were just in euphoria, doing videos, celebrating over the fact that they were able to get this man off of Twitter and everything. And for Cody to allow everyday Joes to get into his head like that and fuck with his form of communicating with his fans, even the ones that mean well and are just trying to offer him constructive feedback, constructive criticism, I think it's a bad move, especially when at the end of the day, we're talking about brand awareness, especially for your own brand. You know, we're talking about, you know, self-brand awareness, self-brand representation, exposure, the whole 9 yards. And you basically are just cutting off one form of social media, you know, because you don't like the way that, you know, there's a simple solution for that. It's worked for guys like CM Punk. It even works for your average Twitter follower that doesn't have that blue check mark, which is when you get ready to post something, you can easily just go on ahead and you can change your settings. You can set it up so that the only people that you're reading from is either other people with blue check marks, or you can set it up in a way where you are interacting only from those that you at, right? You get ready to put your tweet out. There's a setting, and somebody needs to relate this to Cody. There's a setting you can fuck with. Either that setting is only people that you follow can respond to your tweets, or only people that you at can respond to that tweet that you put out there. And that's pretty much it. I mean, if it was me personally, that is how I would set it up. I mean, don't get it wrong. I know where these men and women are coming from, and, you know, sadly, everybody deals with some form of depression, anxiety, you name it. And when you get a case where those ingredients I just mentioned are combined with toxicity on social media, yeah, as far as mental health, it can definitely, yeah, I trust me, I get it. I get it. Yeah, but you just got to do a better job in utilizing the options that's at your disposal before you just go, look, now look, it's not the end of the world because he could change his mind and he could come back. He's got 30 days to reactivate his account. So if he decides he wants to, he can easily bring it back. But as far as I'm concerned, honestly, and I know many wrestlers, they make their rounds seeing what various podcasts have to say and everything. I really hope that somebody connected, shares along these words with Cody and he strongly reconsiders bringing the account back and just has those respected asterisks as far as how he can go about using the account and everything. You're going to deal with some form of hatred no matter where you go in this life. And you either learn how to navigate around it and not letting it stop you from achieving your goals, or you just, you play hide and seek. You just keep dodging them and, I'm just going to shut this down. It's like, okay, yeah, you shut that down, but now they're going to come over here. So how are you going to counter that over here? Right? Sooner or later, you just got to stand your ground and you just got to freaking, because the same features is pretty much on Instagram as well. Like, I remember there was a time where I used to always, once in a while, I still do it. I'll post something on Instagram and then I'll get like a weird comment. And it's usually somebody trying to promote a porn site or whatever. It's like, what the fuck? And I fucking block them. And now when I post stuff, I typically just go no commenting allowed. And I think the other thing, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, because I'm not that Instagram savvy, but I think on Instagram, you can still send somebody a DM unless you block their profile and all that. Then they can't see you. They can't communicate with you whatsoever. So you're still kind of coming across the same issues. I mean, to each its own. At the end of the day, do what you got to do as far as your mental health goes. But one has to take a step back and kind of say, okay, am I doing this because I'm trying to protect my mental health, or am I running away from this because I don't quite know how to combat this? I don't quite know how to, right? It's kind of one of those type of deals. But this goes to the point of everything I've mentioned over the years as far as social media, the toxicity and everything that's attached to it. Yeah. Other than that, that's pretty much it. We can go ahead and we can stick a fork in it. Call this show DONE done. So look, your next episode of the RCWR show, remember what I said. We are going to do something Saturday. We're going to get into WWE Survivor Series predictions. We'll also get into that Becky Lynch, Ric Flair stuff. I'll even open up the phone lines on that Saturday show. Again, I'm thinking maybe we'll either come on at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Just look for the poll asking you guys what time would you prefer, and then we'll pretty much do it that way. That should be a good show. Let's see. And then we also got the Survivor Series pay-per-view post show. That's going to be live soon as the pay-per-view goes off the air. We'll be doing a simulcast on that. So we're going to be all over the place. All right. We're going to be all over the place. The wrestling with the topics, you guys already know. I'll have that put out before the weekend is out. All right. Be Kind Rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads, especially if you did not check out the 10th anniversary special. Go check that out when you guys get a chance. You made it up to this point. Once again, please hit that like button when you do that. It's free, first of all. Not only do you spread the word about our content, you make it more easy for folks to discover it with ease. do consider subscribing as well. All right, good stuff right there. Good stuff that you'll always be checking out when you subscribe. You'll always be kept in the loop on upcoming new things. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. And until next go round, wishing all of y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Adios, y'all. Take care.